The sky is no longer a battlefield of pilots. It is a battlefield of physics. Most people believe that stealth means a plane is invisible. It isn't. Stealth is simply a way of delayed detection. Then, a race against the speed of light. On the other side of that race is the integrated air defense system. Today, we are stripping away the myths of the dogfight. We are looking at the cold, hard reality of how an aircraft, no matter how expensive, is hunted, trapped, and deleted from the sky. We are analyzing the 7 levels of air defense, from the humble shoulder-fired missile to the terrifying S-400 and the futuristic directed energy weapons that travel at the speed of light. We will see how the ladder is climbing. Every nation on Earth is trying to build a shield that cannot be pierced. Every aerospace company is trying to build a sword that cannot be seen. In 2025, the shield is winning. Welcome to the hierarchy of the sky. Welcome to the echelon. Let's begin. At the base of the ladder, we find Level 1. This is the MANPADS, Man-Portable Air Defense Systems. Think of the American Stinger, the Russian Igla, or the British Starstreak. At this level, there is no massive radar array. There is no command trailer. There is only a soldier, hiding in a tree line, waiting. This is the gorilla of the sky. MANPADS don't care about radar-absorbent material or stealth shapes. They are passive seekers. They look for the infrared signature, the raw heat of an engine. While they cannot hit a high-altitude bomber flying at 30,000 feet, they make the first 5 to 1,000 feet of the atmosphere a nightmare for helicopters, drones, and low-flying jets. In modern conflicts, we have seen billion-dollar air forces grounded by teenagers with $50,000 tubes on their shoulders. It is the most democratic form of air defense. It is cheap, it is portable, and because it doesn't emit a radar signal, it is nearly impossible to find before it fires. Level 1 is the foundation, the point defense of the individual soldier. But if the enemy stays high, the soldier is helpless. To reach higher, you need Level 2. Level 2 is point defense. This is what we call the final line. Think of systems like the Russian Pantsir, the American C-RAM, or the naval phalanx CIWS. At Level 2, the mission isn't to protect a country. It is to protect a single high-value coordinate, a base, a bridge, or a command center. These systems are a violent mix of rapid-fire cannons and short-range missiles. They are designed to act as a goalkeeper. If a cruise missile or a swarm of suicide drones breaks through the outer layers of a nation's defense, Level 2 is the frantic, high-speed response. The C-RAM, for instance, can fire thousands of rounds of 20mm tungsten bullets per minute, creating a literal wall of metal in the path of an incoming threat. Level 2 is reactive. It is the last-ditch effort. It is the sound of 1,000 shells being fired in a few seconds, a sound that usually means the enemy is already at the gates. But a superpower cannot survive by being reactive. To stop the threat before it reaches the gate, you need to see over the horizon. You need Level 3. Level 3 is tactical air defense. This is where the military moves from static protection to mobile bubbles. Think of systems like the NASAMS or the BUK-M3. These are the systems that travel with the army. When a column of tanks and 3,000 soldiers moves across a border, Level 3 moves with them. This level introduces sophisticated mobile radar. It is designed to kill fighter bombers and strike aircraft before they can even release their payloads. This is where the game of electronic warfare truly begins. A pilot in an F-16 will try to jam the BUK radar, flooding it with noise. The BUK radar will respond by frequency hopping, jumping across the spectrum 1,000 times a second to find a clear signal. At Level 3, the battle is no longer between pilots. It is between engineers and signal processors. It is a duel of math and electricity. However, tactical systems are still limited by their mobility. They are powerful, but they are local. To dominate the sky of an entire region, you need the giants. You need Level 4. Level 4 is strategic area denial. This is the realm of the names you see in the headlines: the American Patriot and the Russian S-400 Triumf. These systems don't just protect a base, they protect a province. Their radars can track hundreds of targets simultaneously from 4 to 100 kilometers away. This level creates what military planners call an A2, AD zone, anti-access, area denial. If you fly a conventional, non-stealth aircraft into this zone, you are effectively dead. The computer has already calculated your trajectory, and the missile is already in the air before you even see the lock warning on your cockpit screen. These systems use active electronically scanned arrays, AESA. They are so powerful they can burn through most jamming attempts. This is the level that forced the world's superpowers to spend trillions of dollars on stealth technology. If you cannot shoot down the radar, you have to find a way to hide from it. But as we are about to see, hiding is becoming a temporary luxury. You need Level 5. Level 5 is where stealth meets its match. This is multispectral defense. Most people assume that if a plane is stealthy, it's invisible to all radar. This is a myth. Modern stealth, like that of the F-35 or the B-21, is optimized for X-band fire control radars. These are high-frequency radars used to guide a missile to its target. But L-band and VHF radars, the older, lower-frequency systems, can still see stealth planes. They can't see them clearly enough to lock a missile, but they can see a vague smudge in the sky. Level 5 systems link all these different sensors together in a sensor fusion grid. The L-band radar sees the smudge and tells the high-frequency radar exactly where to point its narrow beam. Combine this with infrared search and track, high-definition heat cameras that look for the friction of the jet's skin against the air, and the invisible plane suddenly has a shadow. Level 5 is about trapping. You don't just use one eye, you use 20. When the trap is set, even the most expensive aircraft in history becomes a target. Level 6 is exo-atmospheric defense. We are no longer talking about airplanes. We are talking about the apocalypse. This is the realm of THAAD and the Aegis ballistic missile defense. At level 6, the air defense system must hit an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, that is falling from space at 20 times the speed of sound. This is often described as hitting a bullet with another bullet. It is the peak of current kinetic technology. The eyes of these systems are often in orbit satellites that detect the heat of a launch within seconds. The muscles are interceptors that carry no explosives. They don't need them. At those speeds, a simple collision with a kinetic kill vehicle is enough to turn a nuclear warhead into dust in the vacuum of space. Level 6 is the ultimate insurance policy. It is the only thing standing between a city and a nuclear sunrise. But it is expensive, and it is limited by the number of interceptors you have in the tube. To truly win the war of the future, you need something that never runs out of ammo. You need Level 7. Finally, we reach the summit. Level 7, directed energy and autonomous interception. In 2025, we are seeing the beginning of the end for traditional missiles. Missiles are slow. Missiles are expensive. $1 million interceptor used to kill a $10,000 drone is a losing mathematical equation. Level 7 replaces the missile with the laser and the high-power microwave. These systems travel at the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. There is no lead time. There is no dodging. If the computer sees it, it is already hit. At level 7, the cost per shot drops from $2 to $1 million to $3. Combined with AI-driven processing that can track 10 to 1,000 targets at once, the sky becomes an absolute no-fly zone. When level 7 is fully realized, the very concept of air power will be dead. $1 billion stealth bomber will be nothing more than a slow-moving target for a beam of light. This is the final rung of the ladder. This is the end of the pilot. The ladder of air defense is a cycle of escalation. Every time an engineer designs a stealthier wing, another engineer designs a more sensitive radar. The contest never ends. It only gets more expensive. If you live in a nation with level 4 defense, you are safe from your neighbors. If you live in a nation with level 6, you are safe from the end of the world. But if a nation reaches level 7, they own the sky itself. They have effectively made the atmosphere a wall that no one else can pass. In our next briefing, we shift our gaze from the sky to the deep. We will look at the final frontier of global projection. The 7 levels of naval power, from patrol boats to the supercarrier. This is the echelon. We are the watchmen. We are the architects. If you are ready to understand the real world, join us. Subscribe for the next entry. I am reading your comments below. Tell me, in a fight between a stealth jet and a high-power laser, where are you placing your bets? Thanks for watching.